Welcome to the lecture of ISM. In this lecture, we are going to discuss what is the resultant stress when there is a eccentric load is subjected to a structural member or a column, right? So now a column of a rectangular section, there is a column, its section is rectangular, subjected to an eccentric load. This is known as eccentric load when the load is applied somewhere at a distance from the axis of the structural member or axis of the column. Okay, so this E is known as eccentricity. That means at the distance between the line of action of load, this line is known as line of action. Okay, in which there is a force is acted or load is acting, this line is known as line of action. Okay, so the distance between the line of action and the axis of the structural member or column is known as eccentricity. Okay, this is known as eccentricity. So we know that the eccentricity load, due to the eccentric load, right, when the load is acting at some eccentricity, load cause direct stress as well as bending stress. That means both stresses come into the picture, direct stress as well as bending stress, right? So we know very well what is our direct stress. Direct stress is given by the simple formula sigma d. Here sigma is represent stress and d is stand for direct. Okay, why we use d here? D is stand for direct. Okay, so it represent whole as a direct stress is equals to p upon a. That means load upon area. Okay, we know this is the value of stress. This stress is uniform along the cross section of the column. This direct stress is uniform along the column. Okay, you know how we can shift our load. You should know that how we can shift our load. If there is load is acting here, P, at some eccentricity, a, that means a. Okay, if we take eccentricity here a, it's just a representation. We can take it as a or e. Why e? That means eccentricity, the first word of e. Okay, here we can a, here we can take as a. Okay, so how we can shift this load into this position? We shift load as direct, that means here P, and we can shift this because it is producing a movement P into A, and there is a movement also come into the picture P into A, and there is a load P. Okay, P into A, sorry, this is movement. This is how we can shift our load into one position to the another position. Okay, we discuss this concept later. It's just telling to understanding. If there somewhere come, you can understand. Okay, we can shift our load as well. So the bending, this is a direct stress. Direct stress value sigma d equals to P by A. Okay, so now we come to the next, a bending stress. It is represented by sigma b. Sigma means stress and that b represent bending. Stress due to bending due to movement at any point of the column section at a distance y from the neutral axis, right? So we know from the neutral axis at y distance, okay, it is the bending stress can be written as like that. It is a flexure formula, or we can say bending equation formula, result of the bending equation, right? When we derive the bending equations, it is comes out like that: m upon I equals to sigma upon y is equals to E upon r. So we use these two terms. By using these two terms, we can find out our bending stress. The bending stresses comes out from this formula is m upon I, and we take y into this, in this right here, right? So into y, sigma b equals to m upon I into y. Here what I represent? I represent as moment of inertia of column section about the neutral axis. Okay, so if there is a column and this is axis, right? This is neutral axis. Suppose like that. The length of the I'm not showing the length of the column because there is no space like here. Okay, so this is our B and here is our D. So what is the moment of inertia? Moment of inertia is comes out in general I equals to b d cube by 12, right? You remember this formula. But how, why d ki cube comes? The section cuts in this axis of b, so b ki cube comes. Okay, when the axis comes like that, when the axis is like that, here it is b and it is d, that means the formula comes out b d ki cube divided by 12, because it comes the d. Okay, the dimension d. When it comes the dimension b, the formula of I comes out d b ki cube. That means b cut to then b cube upon 12. Okay, so putting the value of I in this particular formula, we know what's the value of I, d b ki cube divided by 12, because we cut like that. This is neutral axis or column. Okay, so putting the value of I in this formula, we get sigma b equals to m upon the value of I d b ki cube divided by 12 into y. Okay, so the bending stress sigma b depend what it is depend upon the value of y, right? What is the value of y? It is a distance from the neutral axis to the position where we want to find out our bending stress. Okay, so if we find out our bending at this position, so from the neutral axis, what is the distance of it? It represents the y. Okay, so for the extreme fibers, sigma b, if we want to find out the bending stress at extreme fibers, what do you mean by the extreme fibers? If this is neutral axis, okay, so this fiber and this fiber, it represent the extreme fiber. Here what is represent? Y is a distance from the neutral axis, above or below, right? So y at this position, what is the value of y at this position? If this hole is b, so this value is b by 2. Okay, the neutral axis से and along this direction and along this direction, at this point this value is completely b by 2 is this fiber, and this fiber, this value is becomes b by 2. Okay, so value of y is equals to b by 2. So sigma b is comes out 12. Here 12 is going upside, 12 mb d b cube into what is the value of b, what's the value of y, b by 2. Why? Because of the extreme fiber, right? If we seeing like that, this is our b. Okay, so this is our neutral axis. Y is a distance from the neutral axis at the point where we want to find out our bending stress. So we want to find out our bending stress at this fiber, this at extreme fiber. So what is the value of y? Y at here is comes out b by 2. Okay, you got it the point. So this is that's why we written the value of y as b by 2. So what's the value of sigma b comes out here? 2 6 are 12, right? B to be cancelled, here is b square, 6m upon db square. Okay, or how we can write our m is equals to p into e. Okay, what is the value of moment? Is equals to, this is the force, we find out about this axis, so this is the load or force and this is the perpendicular distance. Moment, what is the definition of moment? Moment is equals to load into perpendicular distance or force into perpendicular distance. That's why moment is comes out at this point is equals to p into e. Okay, so here moment is, value of moment is p into e. Okay, and it is these value, remaining values are the same, 6 db square. So b into d, what it represent? It represent the area. So we write b into d as area and 1b is remaining here. So this is our bending stress value. We give it the name of this equation as equation number 2. So we know that how we can find out the resultant. Resultant is an algebraic sum. So for the maximum, there is addition of both dielectric stress as well as bending stress. So what the value of our dielectric stress? The dielectric stress value is here, sigma d is equals to p upon a, and the value of bending stress is here in equation number b, 6 pe upon ab. So we sum both the equations for sigma d and sigma b, and this values comes out P upon A 1 plus 6C by B. How this comes out? We take a common P upon A. Okay. So the maximum value of resultant comes out P upon A bracket 1 plus 6E by B. Right. So this is our maximum stress. So what is the value of minimum stress? Minimum stresses comes out when the direct stress minus the bending stress. We do this. Okay. So this value is comes out similarly. You can do this. Sigma minimum is comes out. That means total resultant stress due to the eccentric load is comes out minimum. That means total minimum. Okay. P upon A 1 minus 6 E by B. This is very important result. Please go through it. Learn by heart. Okay. So now we just discussing here the concept. Okay. Why these this what is the value of the compressive, this is what is the value, this is compressive or this is a tensile. Okay, so this is our column. We applied the force here P at some eccentricity E. Due to this force P, it is compression in this side. If this is our y axis, so at this side of the y axis, this is a compression, right? And on this side of the y axis, there is a tension. Okay, so we are seeing here this. If this is our y axis, and this is our load, here the load is acting, it is shown the topmost portion of the column. That means it is a bird view. We can say top view of the column. When you see the column from the top, you can see this. Okay, so this represent the load is acting here at some eccentricity E. Okay, so if y is taken as positive, if we're talking about the distance from the neutral axis at the positive side y axis as the load, at which side there is a load. Okay, so then the sigma b bending stress will be same as the direct stress. That means direct stress is compressive here. What is the value of direct stress? If we seen in this portion, direct stress is compressive here. Due to this compression, bending stress is also compressive here. Okay, sigma b will be same as the sigma d. That means sigma d is compressive. That means sigma b will be also compressive towards the right of the y axis. That means this is our y axis. So right of this y axis, if we applied load at somewhere here, that means the stress, both stress, direct stress as well as bending stress, comes out to be compressive. Okay, so the resultant stress along the width of the column will vary by a straight line law. That means the stress is varying by a straight line. Okay, along the width of the column, the stresses varies linearly. Okay, or we can say the straight line law. It's follow the straight line law. Sigma minimum is negative. If sigma minimum comes out negative, if this sigma minimum comes out negative, then the stress along the layer AD will be tensile. That means this layer along the layer AD, the stress comes out tensile if sigma minimum negative. Okay, and if sigma minimum is 0, that means no tensile stress, and sigma minimum positive, only compressive stress. So we are going to understand by this concept of column from this razor, right? So if we applied the load at this point, suppose this is a axis of this, assume this is a column, this is the axis of the column, assume it. So if we applied load here, that means it is a centric load. That means no eccentricity. If we shift this load into the some distance of the here, that means it is now it's became a eccentric load. Okay, this is the axis of the column and we applied load here. That means load is eccentric. Now what is the value of the eccentricity? The distance between this point and this point. Okay, the distance between this point and this point. These distance represent the eccentricity, and here is load applied, that means load is eccentric. Okay, so what comes when we applied a centric load? When we applied a eccentric load, okay, and this load is compressive, that means it compress into this side from the suppose this is our y axis, this is our y axis. So when we applied a load eccentrically to the right of the y axis, that means it will become compressed from this side, this portion will compress, and this portion, in this portion there is a tension, that means from the base it comes out little bit upside, that means there is a tension, right? So we seeing here, if this is our column, if suppose this is our column, okay, so if we applied a centric load here from the e distance from the axis of the column, so what it comes, if there is a base of the column, this is a compressive, so that means from where the, from at this is a axis point, okay, at this portion there is a compression, that means it is a compressive, column will compress here, and in this portion there is a tension, that means the column start leaving the contact with the base. Okay, the column will be something like that, due to the eccentric load at this side. That means here is a tension and here is a, sorry, here is a compression, here is a tension. This is similarly present when the both, there is a bending stress as well as dry stress, both come in picture, right? So there is a maximum stress, it is shown, and from this point to this point the direct stress and bending stress, the combination reduces, and here is the minimum, because there is a difference between the direct stress as well as the bending stress. Okay, so in this lecture it is enough. Next lecture we continue the topic of middle third rule and middle 1/4 rule. Okay, thank you so much.